Dear students, I welcome you all to the first session of the Zoology Learning Management System launched by Department of Collegiate Education, Karnataka. In this session, we shall consider the histology. This is the first chapter in the first unit of histology, animal behavior and ecology for fourth semester prescribed by University of Mysore. So first of all, let us see what is histology. Histology is the study of tissue. Tissue is the group of cells performing different functions. This histology may comprise the study of plants as well as animals and any other living creatures which have tissue grade or above organization. But in this semester we shall consider only about the histology of animals, in particular histology of some organs of animal system. Along with that, histology is also the study of composition and structure of plant and animal tissues in relation to their specialized functions. So we are not only studying about their composition and structure, we are also focusing on their functional aspects also, how these cells are organized, what is the composition of these cells, how they are arranged, and what are the functions that they are going to exhibit. So what is the importance of histology? Why we have to study this part in zoology? Histology allows us to understand the cell behavior and reproduction, making cellular biology. See, cell biology is a branch in zoology which deals with the study of cells, all aspects of cells. So here, this study of histology makes more space for the study of cell biology. By studying histology, we also come across how organs and organ systems develop and change across the life course. So that means from which germinal layer they are going to develop, whether it's from ectoderm, endoderm or mesoderm, what is their composition, as well as through the course of evolution, how the tissues or the cells or the organs have changed. This could be studied using comparative histology, as well as to study the diseases. See, any diseases for that matter initially causes certain structural as well as functional changes in the tissues, and this could be easily studied through microscopy. So now let us start the study of histological structure of mammalian tongue. As we all know, tongue is a very important organ in the digestive system of human beings and most of the other vertebrates. In different vertebrates, it performs different function, but here our focus is only on the mammalian tongue, and here we are specially focusing on the human tongue. Human tongue is a highly muscular organ attached to the floor of the mouth at the posterior region. This tongue is roughly divided into two parts by a line like structure called sulcus terminalis. So this is the sulcus terminalis, which divides the tongue into two parts, roughly divides the tongue into two parts. The posterior part is majorly the tonsil region, which has some immune function, and the anterior part is majorly composed of the papillae, which in turn comprises taste buds, which help in appreciation of the taste of the food that is being engulfed. The anterior-most part of the tongue is medianly divided into two parts by a sulcus called median lingual sulcus. This divides the tongue into two equal parts again, as well as this renders the bilateral symmetry to the tongue. And then this part of the tongue is composed of four very important types of papillae, about which we are going to study later on. They are circumvallate papillae, or sometimes it is simply called as vallate papillae, filiform papillae, fungiform papillae. Okay. And then the tip of the tongue is called apex of the tongue. And here the sulcus terminalis is roughly triangular in shape, and the tip of this sulcus terminalis is called foramen of cecum or foramen cecum, behind which there are two important tonsils, one large lingual tonsil and the other one small, which are situated on either side of the tongue, called palatine tonsils. Both of these tonsils have got immune function. And at the posterior most tip of the tongue, a small muscular structure hangs down, is called uvula, which is not present here. Okay. Moving further, as we have already discussed, there are four important types of papillae. The first one is the filiform papillae. Filiform, the name itself indicates, are short, narrow and highly keratinized structures. You can see here they are short and narrow as well as pointed. That's why the name filiform. And they are highly keratinized structures lacking the taste buds. So these papillae do not possess taste buds. The second important papillae is the fungiform papillae. You can see here, this is the fungiform papillae. To look at, roughly they are seen like mushrooms, hence the name fungiform. These are mushroom-shaped structures interspersed among the filiform papillae. They contain occasional taste buds. So that means in between the filiform papillae, we can see some fungiform papillae dispersed everywhere, and they have some taste buds. Okay, not the entire surface of this fungiform papillae have got taste buds, but here and there you can see some taste bud. The third important type of taste bud is the foliate papillae. These are shallow longitudinal furrows on the lateral aspect of the posterior region of the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. Their taste bud degenerate shortly after the second year of life. So these are foliate papillae. They are shallow. Shallow means that they are moat-like. They will have some moat-like structure. Okay, and Longitudinal furrows. They do have some longitudinal furrows. You can see here on the either side. You can see longitudinal furrows, and they are present on the lateral aspect. So they are generally present on the this side, lateral aspect of the posterior region of anterior two-thirds of the tongue. That means, see, if you bifurcate the tongue into two parts again, this part, in the anterior part, so if we consider this is the anterior most part of the tongue, then posterior region of the anterior part. So at the base of this anterior part, you can see the foliate papillae. The name foliate has come because they look like leaves under the microscope, and the taste bud present in them degenerate slowly after the second year of the life of the child. The fourth and last type of papillae are circumvallate papillae, or simply vallate papillae. They are around 10 to 15 large circular papillae, each which is surrounded by a moat-like furrow. They lie just anterior to the sulcus terminalis and possess taste buds. So this is sulcus terminalis, and just anterior to the sulcus terminalis we can see the presence of certain ring-like structures here. So if you zoom it out under microscope, you can see these type of vallate papillae or circumvallate papillae. So these circumvallate papillae are surrounded by a moat-like structure. Here you can see here. Okay, moat means the shallow depression of the fort or something like that. Okay, so here, and all these circumvallate papillae are surrounded by this moat-like furrow, and all these vallate papillae possess taste bud. Hence, they have a very important major role in the appreciation of taste of the food that is being consumed. Another important histological structure that is observed in the tongue is the taste bud. The taste bud is very important to appreciate the taste. So this is a neurosensory structure which works on the principle of chemical detection of taste. So each taste bud is composed of 60 to 80 spindle-shaped cells that form a barrel-shaped intraepithelial structure. So you can see here there is a connective tissue as well as striated squamous epithelial tissue all around this taste bud, and there is a depression in which the cells which are barrel shaping, okay, which have the barrel like shape, these cells are called gustatory receptor cells. Okay, these type of cells will be around 60 to 80 in each taste bud. Okay, these structures are located on the superior surface of the fungiform papillae, on the lateral surface of the circumvallate papillae, and in the walls of the surrounding moat-like furrows. See, we have already seen in different papillae, different papillae do possess taste buds, that we have already studied about. So on the superior surface of the fungiform papillae, we have seen fungiform papillae do possess some scarcely distributed taste buds as well as the circumvallate papillae. So circumvallate papillae possess taste buds, and also the moat-like walls that surround the circumvallate papillae also possess some taste buds. Each taste bud has a small opening. You can see here there is a small opening called taste pore, from which microvilli or these small hair-like structure which are projecting out of this taste pore they are called either gustatory hairs or microvilli or taste hairs. They project into the oral cavity. They come out of this taste core and they will be projecting out of the oral cavity, okay, or into the moat-like surrounding of the circumvallate papillae. Sometimes they are also open to the moat-like surrounding of the circumvallate papillae. So any food stuff that reaches here will be initially moistened by saliva, and that moistened saliva laden food will reach the taste pore, where this gustatory receptor cells will send that signal to the brain through the sensory neurons, where the taste will be appreciated later on. So let us look into the functions of the tongue. The tongue is used for many purposes in mammals. So one such purpose for which the tongue is being used is mastication. So that means the act of chewing. Okay. When food is taken in, it must be thoroughly chewed so that the large food particles are broken down into smaller food particles. So this process is called mastication. Second one, deglutition. Deglutition means the act of swallowing. The food that is being consumed must be swallowed into the stomach so that it could be used for further digestion process. So in this act of swallowing, the role of tongue is very, very important. Appreciation of taste. Tongue also is a very important organ in appreciation of the taste of the food that is being engulfed. In mammals and in particular the human being, tongue is very important for the production of speech sound. Tongue is also a secretory organ which contains some cells that secrete mucus and serous fluids, which keeps the mouth moist. So for further reading, you can observe and refer these textbooks that are available in the most of the libraries. Thank you.